Researching on board. The POLARSTERN is a mobile research platform. Up to 55 scientists can simultaneously carry out research on board. The vessel offers a high-quality range of research possibilities, equipment and labs. You will learn about some of these here. We are standing on the workdeck. In front of us we can see a water sampling rosette. It can be used to acquire water samples from various ocean depths. Sample containers are attached to the wreath-shaped frame. Additional measuring instruments can be fastened to the center of the frame in order to, for example, measure temperature and pressure when lowering the water sampling rosette into the depths of the sea. The device is generally lowered on a steel cable to the ocean floor, in some cases to depths of several thousand meters. The sample containers open or close at the desired water depth. This makes it possible to bring samples from various depths to the surface. In this way, we can reach conclusions concerning the water composition there. As you can see here, a water sample is being taken for analysis in the lab. This is one of the dry labs on the E-deck. A large number of samples can be analyzed here. These samples are examined and evaluated for algae and bacteria, as well as for microimpurities. Microimpurities are natural or synthetic substances introduced into the environment by humans. However, a detailed analysis of the acquired samples takes place in the lab on the mainland. An initial evaluation on the POLARSTERN enables a subsequent comparison of the values on land. It can thus be ascertained that the samples have not changed during the long transport. Do you notice something about the microscope? It is anchored to the table. The brackets with the so-called sea rails guarantee that none of the sensitive and expensive research equipment slides off in the labs, even in rough seas.
Well, this looks quite chaotic again. Currently we have 2 echoes here, and then it shifts again to 1. I can't tell exactly what it is, however. I just go over there and have another look. Can you please zoom out a bit?
We are now in the Hydra acoustic laboratory. Here is where information about the ocean floor is evaluated. Surveying the ocean floor is routine business on the POLARSTERN. It is important for research and for the safe navigation of the vessel. Surveying takes place with echo sounders installed in the hull of the vessel. They transmit sound impulses which are reflected from the ocean floor. From these reflections, it is possible to reach conclusions concerning the structure and the characteristics of the ocean floor. There are several echo sounders aboard the POLARSTERN. The 2 most important are the sediment echo sounder Parasound and the multi-beam echo sounder Hydra. The helicopter hangar is where the 2 helicopters are stored on board. For example, the helicopters take people from POLARSTERN to Neumeier Station 3 in Antarctica. Scientists live and work there year-round at one of the coldest places on Earth. Without external supply, survival in the polar regions would not be possible. If you look outside, you will see a scientist raising a balloon. She's a meteorologist. The weather balloon filled with helium will transport a probe to a height of 35 kilometers, which will transmit data on temperature, air pressure, air humidity, wind direction, as well as wind velocity from there to the vessel. Here's the POLARSTERN at station. On research ships, this means that one sails to a previously determined location at sea in order to take samples or carry out measurements there. As a safety precaution, wearing helmets on deck is obligatory for everyone, even the scientists. A so-called CTD probe for the measurement of pressure, conductivity and water temperature is being lowered into the water with a winch and will then be reeled in again. In this case, this happens while the POLARSTERN is sailing. Winches are among the most important equipment on any research vessel. Without them, one could not retrieve most measuring devices.
Stop. Wonderful. Set the knob to free. And then you can go back to lock. Now lock again.
Carrying out research on the POLARSTERN means acquiring meaningful data on a floating lab with a swaying surface under time constraints. Important findings about climate, the polar regions and the ocean are gathered here. The research work is usually only part of a long research project, sometimes lasting several years, which continues back at the home port on land.